Mel Miskimen's mother passed away. She noticed her normally tough guy father withdrew into sadness. Mel thought it would be a good idea if he filled his time by training their dog, Rowdy, their rowdy dog, Seamus.
Yeah, we're super thrilled to welcome Mel, her dad, Marc, and Seamus to the Morning Blend because the little experiment gave very unexpected results.
That's right.
Mel writes about it in this dog memoir titled Sit, Stay, Heal: How an Underachieving Labrador Won Our Hearts and Brought Us Together. I love the title. And that's a great picture
Shot.
of Seamus on the front there, looking all proud.
Thanks for being here, you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, how did Seamus feel about being on TV today, do you think?
Is there food involved?
Right.
There will be, but I don't know if it's dog food over there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think he's a kale eater.
No. He's very well behaved. He was once rowdy.
Well,
He is rowdy.
He's still rowdy?
yes, the other lady that was in the room with us, she was very attached to dogs, sat on the floor, had Seamus get in her lap, and Seamus just went bonkers.
Yeah.
That's Anita. She works here with us at today's TMJ4.
She loves
can
dogs.
smell a pet miles away. Loves
After
them.
about 3 minutes of her goofing around with the dog,
Totally
we had to
ruined.
knock it off.
Totally
Yeah.
ruined.
Right. Totally ruined. All right.
ruined.
So here's what we have to know. How did you, or your dad, and your dog Seamus, how was it that you came to find yourselves field training in the middle of a Wisconsin winter?
Well, it's always winter in Wisconsin, so
Right.
there was no surprise there. But it was just that we started training with him in the spring, and it just gradually, we kept at it every week on Wednesdays, right, Dad?
Yes.
We'd go every Wednesday. So it was sort of like a Tuesdays with Maury meets Marley and me kind of a thing. And I really, did not want to stand out there in the field in the wind and the rain and the muck, but I had to.
Okay.
You know.
In the early days of training Seamus, what was it that you wanted him to do, and what was your answer to that?
You know what I wanted him to do, remember? I wanted him to vindicate the family. Because
Vindicate the family.
Yeah, vindication. Because we had this major debacle at the sports show.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're so fun. What did you want him to be able to do? What was your part in the training?
My first thought was train the trainer.
Yes.
And then after that, we went to the dog.
Yeah.
And Mary Ellen followed my orders very, very well. Seamus stumbled a little bit, and we had to get him going. But after about 3-4 sessions, everything was starting to fall into place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he sit? Does he stay? Does he shake now? Those kinds of things?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
When we go out to the field and we want to train and have him do retrieving, he sits at her side, the dummy is thrown way out, and maybe another dummy is thrown to another spot, and then she gives the commands, and the dog does very, very well.
Yeah.
That's great.
Only my kids were like
I'm with you there. And you're a retired cop,
Yes,
right?
I am.
Okay. Did you feel sort of a softer side of your personality sort of awaken after the passing of your wife?
It was difficult. I knew my wife since I was 14 years old, and we were very, very companionable to each other. And yes, it was difficult, and I thank Mel for bringing me around.
Oh,
That's sweet.
yeah.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It is. And I think this has got to be a really important thing that you wrote. You've written before about your father saying a cop's kid.
Right,
This is a
right.
very different style of memoir and writing that you've done. How emotional was it for you to be able to write about your father coming around?
Well, it was sort of like this thing that just sort of happened. I mean, I'd come home from training the dog, and I would tell my husband all the things that we did, and my husband's like, boy, you should write this stuff down. And I'm like, you think? So I started to write it down, and it was almost like the book wrote itself, because I was writing it as it was happening, and it just all. I mean, as a writer, I never had a writing block with this book. It was like crazy.
What's the video that we just showed? Was this when, because a lot of people will train a beautiful show dog and a real show, but he was actually disqualified, right?
Yeah.
What happened?
This isn't the one that he got disqualified in. This is
Okay.
at the sports show. This was our triumph.
What happened?
Well, when the first time we got disqualified, they had it on stage, and they had like a duck blind, like a fake duck pond and all this stuff, and I'm like, well, he's a Labrador. So when he got the dummy, he sort of took a route. Right? And he went to the duck pond, he went to the truck. It took him like 2 minutes to get back to me, and that was like, you know, you're out of here.
You're out.
I thought, oh, and then my father and my mother were sitting in the stands, and he's, you know, he speaks fluent retriever. So he was like, oh, hanging his head, like walking out, like, don't look at me, you know. So I thought, I need vindication.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask you in closing, because you said what we wanted from this dog was just vindication for our family.
Right.
There is something very special that you feel Seamus has given your family, though, right?
Yeah, I think that he was the bridge for us to get over this intense chasm of grief. I mean, otherwise, if I wouldn't have trained the dog, if we wouldn't have got outside together, I think we would have just been wallowing in this, you know, in this quagmire. So I think that he sort of, you know, gave us something to live for, I think, is what I'm saying.
It's cute.
Will you both be at the book signing coming up?
Yeah, all three of us.
So you got to come out, and you can meet Mel and Marc and Seamus tonight, 7 o'clock at Boswell Book Company.
That's right.
It's on Downer. MelMiskimen.com is the website for more. You can go to our website for further spelling on that. But tonight, 7 o'clock at Boswell Book Company. Thanks so much for sharing your story,
Thank you.
both of you.
It was great.
Thank you.
Really
Loved
appreciate it.
meeting you both. Thank you so much. He's so good. Everybody's going to want to take
did
him
great.
home.
Oh, no.
I love it. Thanks, guys.